Welcome to Exam Sale. This script outlines the syllabus for Cisco, designing Cisco Enterprise Wireless Networks, 300-425 ENWLSD, and what you need to master to pass. Overview of the exam structure and weights. Wired and wireless infrastructure is 30%, wireless site surveys is 25%, mobility is 25%, and high availability is 20%. Each domain lists focus areas, the expected difficulty, estimated learning time in hours, and the assessment type so you can plan study time effectively. Use these weights to prioritize study and hands-on practice. Wired and wireless infrastructure carries 30% of the exam, with a focus on the architectural design of the underlying physical and logical network supporting wireless services. Difficulty is medium, estimated learning time hours is 35, and the assessment type is conceptual plus scenario-based. You will learn Layer 2 and Layer 3 network design including VLANs and subnets, MGig and PO requirements for modern APs, switch port density and uplink capacity planning, and spanning tree protocol configuration for wireless stability. The domain also covers routing for controller-to-controller communication, DHCP and DNS needs for AP discovery, and management integrations such as Cisco DNA Center and Prime Infrastructure, plus wireless management topics like multicast design, COS for real-time applications, MDNS and Bonjour gateway services, NTP synchronization, and security integration with Cisco ISE. Wireless site surveys are 25% of the exam and focus on planning and conducting physical and predictive assessments to determine optimal AP placement. Difficulty is medium, estimated learning time hours is 25, and the assessment type is scenario-based. You will learn site survey methodologies including executing predictive surveys with planning software, performing passive and active post-deployment surveys, and validating deployments with AP on a stick testing while analyzing SNR and RSSI metrics. The domain also teaches environmental and physical considerations such as density-based AP placement, selecting internal versus external antennas, assessing building material attenuation, designing coverage for warehouses and high-density outdoor areas, and planning for regulatory domains and DFS channel constraints. Mobility makes up 25% of the exam and focuses on designing seamless client transitions and roaming across the enterprise wireless ecosystem. Difficulty is hard, estimated learning time hours is 30, and the assessment type is scenario-based. You will study mobility architecture and roaming including Layer 2 and Layer 3 roaming designs, configuring mobility groups and mobility lists, intercontroller and intracontroller roaming behavior, mobility oracles and mobility controllers, and design considerations for Cisco Catalyst 9800 mobility tunnels and anchor versus foreign controller relationships. You will also cover roaming optimization standards such as implementing 802.11r fast transition for seamless handoffs, 802.11k neighbor lists and 802.11 volt BSS transition management for client steering and load balancing, choices between over-the-air and over-the-DS transition modes, optimizations for VLAN, and key caching methods like PMK caching and opportunistic key caching. High availability accounts for 20% of the exam and focuses on ensuring network resilience and service continuity through redundancy and failover design. Difficulty is medium, estimated learning time hours is 20, and the assessment type is hands-on plus conceptual. You will learn controller and AP redundancy approaches including designing stateful switchover for WLC redundancy, implementing AP SSO and client SSO, and planning N+1 high availability for large-scale deployments. The domain also covers configuring redundancy ports and keep alive timers, optimizing AP failover priority and primary or secondary timers, designing Flex Connect resiliency for WAN outages, and box-to-box as well as chassis redundancy strategies. In conclusion, follow the domain weights and study plan to allocate roughly 35 hours for infrastructure, 25 hours for site surveys, 30 hours for mobility, and 20 hours for high availability, totaling about 110 hours of focused study. Prioritize hands-on practice, scenario-based troubleshooting, and the standards and integrations highlighted here to be ready for Cisco. Designing Cisco Enterprise Wireless Networks, 300-425 ENWLSD.